Hello dear friends, today we talk about how to overcome resistance. Very big thing that I hear from a lot of people who would like to be able to overcome these resistances that are like walls in front of us, and we see that we would like to go somewhere in front. There is like the light there in the end of the tunnel, as they say, or the place where we would like to be, like the other side of the fence, however you want to call it, and there is this kind of fence. So what is this fence? This fence is this kind of resistances. So we're going to talk about this today from one point of view to explain you how you can see it and overcome it. So first of all, before we explain how to overcome resistance, I want to shed some light what resistance really is from one point of view, to understand it in a unique way so that it makes sense what I will tell you. So generally, resistance is when there is in front of us new things. So there are new opportunities, there are new possibilities, the world is changing in front of us, and the old paradigm that we had until now, what we have learned until now, is not working anymore, and we realize that we want more or different, or that we need to change, and we need to move to the next chapter of our life, or something like this, or we need to let go of some things and change. Okay, when there is this situation, resistance appears. And of course, what is resistance? It is the projection of our fears, doubts and insecurities. So when you have in front of you like new conditions, new situation and new opportunities, of course you have to let go of the past. You have to finish with what was until now and shift, change, move ahead, forward and so on. And something inside of us cannot let go and wants to continue the same, doesn't want to change. There is resistance. This is the resistance actually, because in the majority of cases life progresses and changes and evolves, and we need to go along with it. Okay, and of course this is why always change in humanity, even in the global scale, happens with a lot of fights and wars and resistance, right? The history is full of examples where somebody was bringing something new in the world, like a scientist or an inventor or somebody who was exploring the world, and the world could not accept this new thing, and there was resistance. Also, maybe you know in your life the older people who have lived already in their own paradigm, in their own way, and they see the new, people and the new generations coming and maybe shifting everything and bringing something completely new, and the older people have resistance to accept the new, and they say no, this is not good, and they resist. Like there is this kind of phenomenon. The same happens inside of us. Yes, when the new appears, the resistance, some kind of resistance will appear. So what we can do? Before I will answer you to what we can do, I will remind you to click the like button under this video, share some comment from where you are watching, share some love with us, engage, ask your questions, because this will help the algorithm and our group and our channel evolve and give you more knowledge. All right, if of course you find valuable these things that I'm telling and I'm sharing with you. So let's go back. The first thing you can do when you see that there is resistance and fear to change, one reason why this happens is because we have karmic debts. We cannot go forward because we owe a lot of things in the past. For example, this happens to a lot of people in their relationships. Many relationships stay although they are over, they are finished, and they remain because one of the two or both, they feel that they owe to the other person things, that they didn't do good things, and then somehow they have to pay, to repay what they have done wrong in the past, so they cannot do something progressive. Because to change, you need to have this kind of enthusiastic energy and positive energy, but if you feel like, if you carry a lot of remorse or some kind of guilt or some kind of heavy conscience that you didn't do your best in the past and so on, it's very hard to leave this past because, it keeps our unconscious parts, this past, and it's very difficult to leave it. So I will continue saying that, yes, in these cases, the first thing you have to do is to see and check if there are things from your past that you know that you could have done until now and you didn't do, and possibly your life is not in the best position because of this. Okay, for example, let's take again the example of a relationship. If you know, for example, that you were not so caring for your partner, although your relationship now somehow is over, you were not so caring and you didn't do so many things that you know that you should do in your relationship. Maybe you never took your partner for vacation, maybe, things that you know that you should have done somehow, and because you didn't do them or you did wrong things and so on. And if you believe, looking at this past, that you would like to give a second chance, in the sense that, like, to do this time these things that you have not done, this is the first strategy that you should implement. Because if you will separate, let's say, and you move ahead, you will carry the resistance, because this will remain in your consciousness forever as some kind of guilt. Because you know, for example, that you should try something and you didn't try. And this applies in your health, in your relationships, in your business, in your spirituality, everywhere. For example, many people, let's say they are following a tradition and then they are disappointed, I don't know, they are following some practice or a master, they are disappointed and they want to go to follow some other master or other tradition or to choose something else. Still, if you believe that you from your side didn't do what you should have done, you will not live with the chapter, let's say, finished. Because you will live and you will know that, but what if I have done what my teacher told me? Really, that I have done everything. Because I know that my teacher told me some things that I didn't do actually. I disagreed, or I forgot them, or I said, come on, it's okay, I will not do this, something like that. And I'm telling you, this applies everywhere. I'm just giving you some examples to understand the principle. So the first thing you can do is this. Try to see if you can do now, and if you want to do now, actually you should do this. If you know that you could do things in the past that you didn't do, you need to try now to do them and give a chance to the past to be fulfilled. And then you will not have resistance to move, because resistance, I remind you, comes from our insecurity, and we cannot let go of the past. One of the reasons that we cannot let go is this. Okay? Now, if you do this and still there is resistance in you, the second thing you can do is to try to implement some change in your life based on the first step that you did. For example, you corrected some things from the past. Let's take again the example of a relationship. Now you decided to give to your partner what you didn't give in the past. So you decide to take your partner, let's say, although the relationship is like dead, let's say like this, in this example, you decide to, even without hope, to take your partner and simply give what you owe to her or to him. Okay, let's say you take your partner and you say, let's go for a vacation together for 1 month or something in Europe, whatever, right? Something nice that you know that your partner loved. And then you make her a gift. And then you tell her, you know what, you deserve, I don't know, your office to renew it as you always wanted or something like this. And you offer her this. And then you tell her, you know, I will take care of something that I let this, and you start fixing your past. Okay, and although you do all this and you feel that you actually inside of you heal this part, but still is not working. You give it some time, let's say a few months, and then you see that actually something is not working. Then the next thing you can do, the next strategy, is to change something based on what you did until now. For example, okay, you did all this that you owe, right? And then you see it doesn't work. Then what can you change that it was not part of what you believe that you should have done, but something to bring something new, but not radically new. For example, what is radically new? Radically new is, let's say, to separate or to take her and go and live in another country. Take your partner and start completely a different life. You take her, you go to an island and you open beach bar and you live in front of the sea. Like radical change, right? Or split and give half of your or all your money to her or something. Like radical changes, right? To repeat, resistance comes because we cannot let go of the past. And one reason is because we owe. And the second is because the past is scary and difficult and we don't know how to move to the new life that we want. Okay, so we spoke about the first strategy, what you should do to cut some of the resistance, and it is possible, but by doing this the resistance will disappear, everything will be fixed and you will move on in a better future. Okay, and your life is changing. And you will fix your relationship or your business or because the same applies everywhere, the principle. So do this change, but this is not radical. This is the second step, radical change, but change based on this. So you did all this in this example of the relationship. Now what you can change? Maybe you can change environment, but not completely. Like maybe you say to your partner, I decided to move, I don't know, to move from the city to the village or closer to nature. Would you like something like this? Or let's do some change like this. All right. Let's start a new business together. What do you think? So you introduce something radically new, but not totally new, right? So the basic of the life is the same, and you introduce some change, some aspect to be different. And this may cut the resistance of transformation. So it means that maybe you can accept a small change. Okay, so this is the second step for overcoming resistance, to change some aspect. Okay, first, I repeat, it's very important, don't move before you try the first step, is to fix the mistakes of the past, if you know that there have been mistakes, the things that you have not done properly. Second, to introduce some small change without changing the basis of your life, like something very intrinsic, but an aspect. Okay, so it is more digestible. And maybe, let's say, in this example, if you will start a new business with your wife, maybe she will become happy and she will find some interest and your life will become better, and gradually you will become connected. It's possible. But this is an example. Don't think now that this is the way to change a destroyed relationship exactly to start a new business. This is an example. You could start a new business. You can buy some animals for your house, like a pet or a cat. You can move to the nature. You can bring your friends to live together with you, or whatever. It can be something, right? And if you do this, and you can accept this, and you overcome the resistance to make some small or medium change, but it is a change of an aspect, and you can digest this and your life changes, but not fully. Basically it's the same, and still the things are not going, still you feel the need to move ahead and transform and do something different because life is not going as you wish. Then the third step is to make a radical change. It is very important because the resistance appears because one part of us knows that there must be a change in our life, and the other part does not want to let go of the past. This creates a conflict. This is the resistance. Okay, always. The resistance is because we cannot let go of the previous chapter. We know that the chapter is finishing. We need to, like we are reading the same chapter again and again, we need to go to the next chapter, but somehow we are attached and we cannot let go. So this is the way to actually change this reality that we cannot let go. One reason is we cannot let go because maybe we have karmic debts, we owe things, we didn't do right things. Second, we can start changing after we do the first step. The second step is to make some medium change, like to change an aspect. And after that, you can go to the third step and try a radical change. And you can try it, and if it doesn't work, and you go back, you cannot do it, you need to understand that you are in this point, especially that you have to achieve this third step. Because if you tried the first step and your life didn't change, the resistance is still there, the conflict. You tried the second step and you didn't arrive to harmony and balance. Because if you find harmony and balance from the previous step, it means now you are in a good spot. There is no resistance, because the resistance comes between the conflict between these two aspects. If your life is good, you don't have to change something, because everything flows very nice and you are really happy and satisfied. There is no need to change. Of course, if somebody would tell me now, I don't know, to change an aspect of my life that I'm happy with, I don't want to change it. So, but I don't have resistance. I will just say no to transformation, to change, because I don't need to change it, I don't want to change it. And it is clear. But we are talking about resistance, and the resistance comes in these cases, right? That you know that you have to change some things and you can't. Okay, so the third step is radical transformation. In this case that we gave about the relationship, you can really, or you can decide, you can sincerely, after you try the first two steps, speak with your partner, say, what are we doing here? Our life is not going very well. We tried, we did this, we did that. You see the last, I don't know, year, we are trying so many things, but it doesn't work. Would you like to split? And cases, like the most cases, your partner, if your partner will see that you did all this effort and you tried really and it doesn't work, will tell you probably, yeah, I think we should actually move in different ways. Or if, let's say, you changed the apartment, or you bought a pet or something, you made some changes in your life, or you started a new business together and it doesn't go well, it's somehow the same, then you can try the radical change. You can say, like, what is your biggest dream? You can say to your partner, this. Okay, my biggest dream is this. Let's leave the past behind and move towards our dream. Or let's, for 1 year, travel all over the world. Or something else. Like a radical change that it is actually what you would like to do. Or split. And in this way, using this 3-step strategy, you can overcome resistance. I'm talking not about small resistances like I don't want to go somewhere in the weekend. I'm talking about bigger things, but because in smaller things, if you cannot find what you want in smaller things, then I suggest you start your personal development path, because this is the reason you don't know yourself. But I'm talking basically about bigger things. Okay, still the reason is the same. We don't know ourselves, or we don't allow to ourselves to do what we want. But usually we need to do this kind of radical change, or to move ahead in the most important aspects of our life that keep us stuck maybe for the whole life in the same. And because we are stuck in the same spot for a long time, for the most important things, then we have a lot of inner conflict and resistances in our life. Okay, I leave you with this. I would like to think about this. If you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments. If you want to learn about how to do all these things, how to create change, how to overcome resistance, how to make radical changes and to overcome the fear of radical change, I invite you to our upcoming trip in 𝗪𝗲. We're going to talk about this there. I will put the link of this retreat down in the comments. This retreat at 𝗪𝗲 will give you a lot of benefits and a lot of tools, because we are going to talk about very interesting, important things in this retreat. Specific teachings that I have put in other posts also, and you will find in the advertisements of this retreat in our pages. That's it. I will see you in the next week with another live stream. Until the next time, watch yourself, see what you want, and give to yourself what is necessary. Keep growing. I will see you soon. Kisses, love, and have a nice rest of the week. Bye bye.